Hi everyone, and welcome to the Aquarius February 2023 weekly illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So hi everyone and welcome. I'm going to go ahead and start by pulling some preliminary cards. We're going to be taking a look at the energy for the week ahead, and more specifically for the energy for about 7 days from the point of you watching this video. Now, keep in mind that often when we think about time in general, we may be looking at something here in this reading that might be reflecting something that you've gone through in the past, and that may need to be revisited now in the future. So if not everything resonates, keep in mind if this is something that maybe resonates to a point in the past, you may be getting a message about that, or something that, again, a lesson learned that wants to come forward now in the present. So we're going to be looking at what you're bringing to the week, what's going on around you, and then we're going to be looking at a challenge, a block. Ooh, man, your cards are kind of a little all over the place today. Very energetic. I like it. And we'll be looking at a challenge, a block, and then an opportunity that wants to come in for you. So Aquarius, we have the 5 of Pentacles is the energy that you're coming in with. We have the 9 of Wands in your environment, what's going on around you. And then we have the 6 of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Cups underneath. Very interesting. So Aquarius, the 5 of Pentacles is a card where we are sitting in a place of kind of, I think, reviewing our limitations and our fears around the physical. The 5 of Pentacles speaks to a poverty mindset or a lack mentality, where we feel that if we pursue something, we might not get a return on our investment, or that we might be kind of left out in the cold. This can be where anything pertaining to the physical, even down to how we express ourselves and how we feel sometimes if we express ourselves openly or honestly, it can impact our bottom line with how people see us, who wants to work with us, who wants to be friends with us. But I think for many of you, you're kind of reviewing this within yourself, that maybe where you've held yourself back with not believing that if you kind of follow your heart, or you are, how can I say it? Because Aquarius, you're a sign that really does speak to individualism, that you might actually be coming from a place right now of reviewing where maybe you've held yourself back on an individual basis, or from sharing your individuality for fear of how it might impact you in your physical experience. Again, feeling like people might turn their back on you, or feeling like you might not be heard in a workplace, and so you kind of sit in only allowing yourself to make X amount of money. But there's something here where in your physical experience, what's going on around you is a card of the 9 of Wands speaks to burnout. It can speak to a level of exhaustion. It can speak to a level too of how far you've come to this point. And it's almost like when I'm looking at these two cards, it looks like these individuals are walking towards this individual, and he's kind of looking back at them. And I think there's a point here where there might be a mirroring effect, a little bit of this in the next week or so, this kind of realization of maybe how long you've carried this feeling with you, this burden of maybe feeling like you're an outsider, hiding a part of yourself that is authentic to you, or just how long you've carried even the burden of kind of a poverty mindset of, I will never make that much, I can't do that on my own. If I try to do something I really am passionate about, or that speaks to my individuality, I will be left out. So maybe you've been hiding some part of yourself for some time. Now with the Page of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 6 of Wands, this is kind of looking at past energy moving up into the present, what you're sitting with right now. And what I really find beautiful is that with the Page of Cups coming in, this is really getting in touch with that inner child, that part of yourself that wants to share those deep feelings that we all have, our needs, our dreams. And this is going out there to share that in a vulnerably open way. And what's interesting is that somehow in doing that and getting back in touch with that part of yourself and getting into a place where you can openly and honestly express from that place of emotion, it's got the wheel turning in your favor. Getting back in touch with this innocent part of yourself is actually bringing in a level of success I think, for many of you, or recognition for how far you've come, a job well done, because that's what the Six of Wands speaks to. Six of Wands speaks to success, being seen, and celebrated for your accomplishments. So there is something here where at this point you have gotten into that place of diving into your uniqueness, your authenticity, and sharing that in a vulnerable way. And it has brought forward something in which you can be celebrated. And maybe for some of you, that is kind of the catalyst for reviewing your own perspective on your limitations in the physical and how you are accepted, and how you share of your individuality, and how you believe or do not believe that this can impact you in a positive or negative way in the physical. And hold on just a moment, guys. Sorry about that. I dropped something, I had to pick it up. So it might just be that this is kind of highlighting, this is almost like sometimes when we get recognition, it actually kind of forces us to see how far we've come to get to this place. And maybe there are people in your environment who are coming into your experience kind of mirroring maybe how you had felt at one point, or they're expressing to you a similar way that you felt, and it's kind of bringing up, it could even be triggering for some of you, it's bringing up these dormant emotions of, oh my gosh, I know what it's like to hide that part of myself. I know I've gone through it. Or I know what it's like to worry about money all the time because I've had to go through it. And this is saying, I think for many of you now, there's been a level of success somehow in getting over that, getting past that, or getting past a feeling that you don't belong. Because with the Page of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, there's something here around the more vulnerable you are and the more you connect with that deep, innocent, kind of childish part of yourself, the more something is turning in your favor. Now, for your main block, we have the Five of Swords, followed by the Empress. We have the Queen of Cups at the heart of your reading, which is beautiful. With Four of Swords on the other side. And then let's see if we can get one final card. So the Five of Swords is a card that speaks to where we are. It's kind of like an ego battle where we want to win at all costs. This is where we have a perspective and we kind of want to stick our fingers in our ears and just, this is what I feel, this is what I see, this is my truth. And people might be coming in to say, hey, well, maybe if you see it in this perspective, or maybe if you do this and you're like, don't want to hear it. I'm right, you're wrong. And there may be a point here where, when you kind of look again, just looking intuitively at these cards, it's almost like this individual is sitting here. And yeah, he may have won all the swords. You see two people kind of walking off with their backs turned in the distance. And he may have won all the swords in this fight, but he's left alone. And I think he's looking now back at himself and saying, it doesn't matter what I do. Here I try to defend myself and I'm left alone. And then maybe it could almost be, again, where there's like this mirroring effect going on this week, where it's like, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like if I share of myself, then I come across as being kind of contrarian, or I come across as being combative. If I share of myself in a different way, then I feel like I'm left out in the cold, or people turn their backs on me. So this might be kind of this point of review of really looking at how you communicate, where you have not maybe been receptive to people coming in, possibly even people coming in to tell you positive things about yourself. Because on the other side of the Five of Swords is the Empress. This is the energy of creation, and it's kind of rawest, most powerful form. It's what we each have the ability to do, which is give birth to the experience we want to give birth to. And I think for many of you, you might have been blocking this creative part of yourself in a way that maybe you didn't realize, because you were afraid to express this part of yourself, because you were afraid to, maybe be the breadwinner in the family or vice versa, because you were afraid This can be like where you have friends and family constantly coming up to you saying, oh my God, you're so talented in whatever you do. How come you don't try to do more with that? How come you stay at this dead end job that they've never promoted you? Or how come you've never tried to have a side hustle where you express this part of yourself? There's something here where I think for many of you have been fighting that because, again, you've been dealing with this fear that if I follow that, if I speak about this, if I show this part of myself, it will land me with nobody around me, or people won't want to work with me, or you name it, fill in the blank. And yet I think what many of you don't realize is that actually it's in the fighting of your own creativity, it's in the fighting and pushing away of people coming in to say you're worth more, that's actually prevented you from really stepping in to getting past this mindset, getting past the really I think kind of maybe hyperfixation on the physical, and just getting into the raw creative ability that only you have to express. Because at the heart of your reading, we have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is a beautiful energy. This is what Spirit's asking you to embrace this week, this is the energy of unconditional love. She holds her cup steady and with reverence. She understands that her needs and her dreams and her hopes and desires are important, and so important that she holds it, again, with reverence, and she's willing to share with others. But she is also very aware of those needs. She's very aware that they have an importance, and the dreams need to be followed, and the needs need to be met, and so on and so forth. And so for many of you, there needs to get to this place of you've connected with your inner child, which is beautiful. But now you need to get to a place where you honor that within yourself, that you express what you need to express, that you pursue what you know you need to pursue, and kind of without this combative element or this fearful place of wanting, for many of you, it also could be that you want to be recognized for something. You really want to be seen for something, and you can't understand why it hasn't happened. And I think it's because many of you maybe haven't opened yourself up to seeing another way to do it, or getting comfortable enough with yourself and your own self-expression to do it from a place where if somebody comes up and says, well, that's stupid, that opinion is lame, or that piece of art you're creating is ugly, or that thing you want to do sounds crazy, that you get into that place of, instead of trying to combat them or spending time arguing with them, or then instead hiding that part of yourself, you just create. You just do. You just love yourself, and you meet your own needs. And with the Four of Swords and the King of Pentacles on the other side, the King of Pentacles is actually further clarified by the Page of Wands. This is saying that you can get into a place, Four of Swords is getting to that beautiful place of kind of taking that pause, taking that kind of point of reflection to really look at your thoughts, to see where those wounds from all the times that something didn't work out. Because we get to the Five of Swords when the Four of Swords precedes the Five of Swords in a way, but before the Four of Swords is the Three of Swords, which are the wounds, the heartaches from the past. The Four of Swords is where we get a chance to really get clear as to what is true for us versus what is true because we have been hurt and we've allowed that to color our truth. Meaning, if you go through, let's say, a difficult breakup and that person told you you were difficult to live with, or you're not easily lovable, or you name it, well, then suddenly those kind of haunt you in your mental space. You're like, well, I'm difficult to live with, so I guess I might as well not live with anybody. And it's like, no, that's not the truth. The truth is that you are who you are. You have a specific way of living. And if that doesn't agree with this individual, well, you can just let that individual go. You don't have to prove anything to them. And I think if you can get to that place of that realization of, wait a second, just because my previous boss told me I was never going to achieve this level of, professional achievement, doesn't mean that's not a reflection on me. That's a reflection on that individual's perspective of me. I know my own truth. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm going to go out and just do what I need to do based on what I know about myself. Now, with the King of Pentacles coming in, this is your final point of challenge to kind of break out of all of this. The King of Pentacles is a beautiful energy of someone who has mastered their physical environment, someone who knows how to handle their finances responsibly, someone who knows the value of their time and energy and can, put a fair price on that. But there's also a feeling here of maybe focusing, because the King of Pentacles focuses solely on the physical. If it doesn't give him a return on his investment in the physical, he's not going to do it. And with the Page of Wands coming in, this is the card of just being a child at play, playing with what you're passionate about, enjoying it for the pure sake of enjoyment. Children don't go outside and carry on cash transactions with the time they spend playing with another kid. They don't go, okay, well, little Billy, I'm worth $25 an hour because I'm amazing at playing basketball. So I'm going to charge you $50 up front for the 2 hours I'm going to be here with you. That's not how kids at play work, right? And instead, they just go out and they play and they share for the pure sake of loving what they do. And I think that this is, if you can get into this energy of just raw creation from who you are, understanding your needs need to be met and they need to be held sacred, that sometimes being so focused on the physical, that can rob us of our joy of just living. It can rob our inner child from feeling just gleeful in what we're doing. And this Page of Wands is going to be the individual that runs up to this really weary, wounded warrior over here. And she's going to be like, why are you just standing here, like leaning on your wand? Like, look at what you can. She's the little kid who'd run up behind him and use her stick to knock against all the other sticks back and forth and be like, ooh, this is pretty. Look at all the noise we can make with this. And he's like, oh my God, what? And all of a sudden it's it is like when we see a child run up to us and maybe we are having a stressed out day. The child comes up and is like, look, I made a mud castle thing here. And you're like, oh my God. But it kind of shakes us out of that realization that it's not all about as we get older and we move into being an adult, we focus so much on the worry around the physical. And this is really that call to get back to the realization that life is not just physical. Life is emotional. Life is passionate. Life is going on a journey where at times we might get exhausted, but you're really being asked here to embrace play, to light your fire. Aquarius, you are an air sign. You have that beautiful ability to go up into the ether and to come, to find those innovative ideas, but then you get to bring them down to earth and ground them for the communal sake of our experience. And I know that can be difficult. That can be a heavy burden to bear as an Aquarius, that, how do I even express what I know, what I've discovered? And I think that this is saying, do it through play. Do it through what honors your emotional needs. And know that you have the ability to create for yourself any experience that you ultimately want to create, but you have to believe in yourself. And you have to also honor, again, who you are as an individual. That's your birthright as a Aquarius. And it doesn't need to be met with you forcing your opinion on somebody or kind of battling against it when they say, hey, maybe you should do it this way. You can just say, no, I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. Okay, so here's the Page of Cups to clarify the Five of Swords. Yeah, many of you've been really pushing away your inner child that wants to come out. And I think what many of you don't realize is that the more you get closer to this inner child and just express from that place, the more, again, the wheel turns in your favor for kind of fame and fortune here, for recognition for that. This is saying it's time to connect on that very vulnerable, very innocent level. Connect that with others. What is the magic you're finding and connecting to within yourself? What is this unique childlike part there that wants to come out? Okay, so let's see about the Empress. What does Aquarius need to know about the Empress? Nine of Swords. Yeah, many of you are worried. You're worried about what you want to express. You're worried about what you want to create. That's what the Nine of Swords is. It's a card of like the what if. What if this bad thing happens? What if they laugh at me? What if they walk away? What if they don't like it? What if I don't make money from doing this? And with the Seven of Coins, this is saying it's leaving you in this place of indecision. It's leaving you in this place of should I or shouldn't I continue to invest in this? And if I do, well, then how do I do that? And I think what it comes down to really, Aquarius, is looking at what do you yearn to create? And then that's going to answer the question for you. Is this worth your time and energy? Well, if you want to create it for yourself and it is part of a dream, a hope, a yearning, or it makes you feel emotionally connected to who you are into life and it feels like play, well then yeah, it's worth the time and energy and investment. Okay, there's the Empress again, clarifying the Queen of Cups. And we have Justice and we have Death. Beautiful. Yeah, there is a part of you. I love that Justice is coming in. This is the divine balance. For anything that is created, something must be destroyed, right? Matter is not destroyed in our understanding of our physical experience. So in order for something new in quotes, to be created, a part of us or something in our experience must be destroyed, and that matter then transformed into something. So for many of you, there is this realization of something in your life that must be released. And that whatever that is for you, it will lead to you being able to create something new. So with the Four of Swords, we have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, getting very clear as to what you're grateful for. And also, what's that final cup? You know, we go from the Nine of Cups. There's one more cup there before you get to the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is our ultimate happy family card. It's our ultimate heart's fulfillment. And I think for many of you, you might have been kind of, I think, maybe turning your back on that final cup, that heart's wish of what do I really want to wish for? And I think the truth of it is you haven't been going for that because of the wounds of the past. And there's the Hierophant. What do you believe? What do you believe you're capable of? What do you believe you're worthy of? And how can you have a higher perspective on your dream? Everyone's dreams and hopes are important because they pull us towards our highest potential. And there's the Three of Swords. There's the heartache and the wounding around the King of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Yeah, you might have gone for something. It could be even too that, with the King of Pentacles, this could be where maybe we had tried to embody that king at some point, and maybe this could be where we started to start a business. We tried to save money. We tried to build something and it didn't work. And we then got hyper focused on then trying to control the physical with kind of an eye to this poverty mindset. And I think for many of you, what this is saying is whatever that is around this King of Pentacles, I mean, this could be a Taurus as well. That's the Taurian energy. But it's something around that is saying it's time to release that. It's time to release, what maybe didn't work out in the physical for you in the past, or release a tie to a need to be so focused on the physical, so focused on the return on the investment, so focused on, well, what am I going to get back from this? And embrace freely the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands doesn't, you notice children don't often walk around with stories of heartache and pain. What happened yesterday is very quickly forgotten. And I think that's the energy you're being asked to embrace here. Let's see if anything wants to come out before I pull your final card. Yeah, I saw that Chariot trying to sneak out earlier. Because if you can release the pain of the past and you can release, I think you're the tie to the physical, you get a chance to start to move forward again. The Chariot is getting back in that car, getting your head and your heart in alignment, and you whip those horses and you move forward. And where is that Chariot ultimately going? It's going to your final destination. Not death per se. It's going towards that place that ultimately feels like home. The Chariot is driving towards the Ten of Cups. And I think with getting very clear as to where you haven't allowed yourself to believe that your 10th cup is possible. Whatever that is. This could be where you just told yourself, well, I'll never have that relationship. I'll never have that happy family. Or this could be a dream that is much grander than that, where you want to help some aspect of elevating some major part of our society or creating, systemic change. It's saying lean into that dream and believe. Because when you start to believe, that's when you start to move forward. That's when the releasing of something in your present is going to allow you to see just exactly what you want to create. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull a final card here, and we'll see, and we'll leave it with that, Aquarius. This is a very powerful reading. It's very simple, actually, in its message, and yet very powerful at the same time. This is getting very, very clear as to your own power of creation, but getting into a place of very innocent connection with life, getting back into a place where you feel like what you do is play, that you love yourself, you honor your needs, and you release the focus on the physical and expand your belief in what when we follow our hearts, are we truly capable of achieving and creating. Let's see here. What does Aquarius need to know about? What does Aquarius need to know is our final message here. Where does Aquarius need to surrender? Man, the other cards are so talkative, and these, there we go. Oh, it says surrender to receiving support and love. I love that. It says allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. And I love that because when we think about going back to that childish essence that lives within each one of us, children are ultimately vulnerable. They do need others to support them. And I think that this is kind of what you're getting into here is you're getting to a place of a high level of vulnerability. And there are people, the Two of Cups coming in here right off the bat, this is saying there are people who are trying to come in to support you and love you and help you and even maybe guide you. And if you could open yourself up to that, you're going to see, I think, a major transitional shift in your experience and also what you can end up bringing in for yourself. And ultimately, there might be, again, an opportunity here for some of you, not everybody, but for some of you, a level of success. Okay, there's that Five of Swords again. I'm not going to take all those cards, but we'll see I'll just pull a couple clarifiers for this last card. But there could be something coming in that is an opportunity for success based on this innocent part of yourself being expressed, being integrated into your everyday experience. Knight of Swords. Yeah, that's very quick communication. This can kind of be, I think, a blunt communication. This can be like where we like love bomb somebody or truth bomb somebody. We come in and we're like, well, this is my truth. Bye. So it might be Ace of Cups and Lovers. Ooh, yeah. This might be where some of you need to tell someone in your life that you love them. With the Ace of Cups and the Lovers, this is a new connection in love to what you love. For some of you, this could actually be a new relationship that's trying to come in. And you might be trying to run from it. But I think this is what this is really speaking to for me here intuitively with this message coming through. Is I think for many of you, you've been holding back on sharing something with someone you deeply love. And this might be even telling someone you've been in a relationship that you love them. And I think it's time for you to express that. Or it's time for you to start to run towards this energy. I think maybe there's been a kind of a pushing away for some time, or maybe in the past you had done this, and it's time now to get on board with sharing your feelings, your thoughts, and maybe to tell someone that you love them or that you love something. Very interesting. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderfully illuminating week ahead. If you are interested in booking a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. And next week, I'm going to be focusing on doing a love reading for each sign since we are entering into the Valentine's Day holiday here in the States. Also, February is just a month that is really heart-centered. The numerology speaks to partnership. It also speaks to kind of the culmination of a long cycle ending, so we can all kind of sit and love our story up to this point. It also speaks to, we just had the Leo full moon, which is a very potent one this last weekend, and Leo is all about ruling the heart. So it's just a month of heart-centered awareness. So that's why I'm going to be doing those love readings, and I hope you enjoy them when I post them next week. All right, Aquarius, I will see you then. Bye.